George W. Bush was a war criminal. I mean, there's no way around saying that. George W. Bush was a war criminal, but the Republicans are now doing everything they can to erase that fact from the history books and actually try to make sure that Obama shares in the blame for Bush's war crimes. Case in point, Guantanamo Bay. It's an abomination, a Republican abomination. It violates both international and U.S. law and is, according to Matthew Alexander's former senior military interrogator in Iraq, al-Qaeda's #1 recruiting tool. Despite the unconstitutional horrors and atrocities that have taken place at Gitmo since it first started taking in prisoners 12 years ago, the prison doors are still open, and the horrors are continuing. Right now, as I speak, there are 155 men being detained at Gitmo. And according to a new report by the human rights group Reprieve, 33 of those men are on a hunger strike in protest of their detainment and the conditions at the prison. That includes 16 men who are being force-fed, which means they're going through unthinkable pain as military officers shove food through a feeding tube that goes into their nose and down their throats. And the worst part of all of this is that many of these men have already been cleared for release by the U.S. government. But because Gitmo's doors are still open, these men are still prisoners. And that's largely thanks to Republicans on Capitol Hill. Republicans say they're worried about closing Gitmo because they think Gitmo detainees being released will turn around and attack America. That really has nothing to do with it. The real reason why Republicans are keeping Gitmo open is because they're still concerned about the legacy of George W. Bush. And they know that one of the biggest stains on his presidency are the atrocities and international war crimes that have been committed at Guantanamo Bay. So Republicans are trying to pass on some of that blame for Gitmo to President Obama. Obama made it clear before he was even president that he wanted to shut down Gitmo for good. He campaigned on that promise. He repeated it throughout his presidency. But Republicans are blocking the Obama administration's attempts to shutter Gitmo by passing legislation that prohibits the government from using federal dollars to close down the prisons. They'd rather prolong the torture that's taking place at Gitmo than deal any more blows to the Bush legacy or any victories to the Obama presidency. Which means that men like Shaker Amer are stuck in the worst kind of limbo. Amer is one of the 77 men currently being detained at Guantanamo who have already been cleared for release by both the Bush and Obama administrations. These men are not and never were terrorists or criminals of any sort. They committed no crimes against the United States or anybody else. They were swept up when the Bush administration was offering a $5,000 bounty for members of al-Qaeda. And because $5,000 is more than a decade's income in Afghanistan, a lot of innocent people got sold to gullible American soldiers. Shaker Amer is also one of the detainees who's being force-fed because he's on a hunger strike to protest his illegal detention. I mean, he's being detained even after he's been found not guilty of everything. Amer told Reprieve that, quote, "I was strapped to the bed for 24 hours except to use the toilet. The force-feeding tube was in 24 hours a day. We would be fed for 30 to 40 minutes each time with Ensure cans, 2 cans 3 times a day. Some of the prisoners became zombies as if they were already dead. I dropped weight to 130 pounds. I told the doctors, I want to die peacefully. I want no intervention. But they refused this." Meanwhile, as Mr. Amer is being force-fed, his family back in the United Kingdom is worried sick about him. And because he's been in prison for so long, he hasn't even met one of his children. The Amer family has reached out to British Prime Minister David Cameron, who has discussed the case directly with President Obama. There's also an ongoing police investigation in the UK into how Mr. Amer had been treated by both U.S. and UK officials. Mr. Amer deserves to be sent home to his family and to live out his life free of force feedings and torture. I mean, the guy's innocent of everything. He's not a criminal. The fact that Guantanamo Bay is still open is more proof that Republicans are willing to put politics ahead of people's lives. Because of their ongoing efforts to sabotage and tarnish the Obama presidency at every chance possible, 155 men are being treated like animals and are being denied even the most basic of human rights. The Republican complicity in this kind of torture needs to stop. They need to stop passing laws making it impossible for the president to close Gitmo. At the same time, President Obama is not just all guiltless in this. He needs to stand up to the Republicans. He needs to make enough noise that he shames them into letting him keep his campaign promise and do the right thing for this country by closing Guantanamo. It's time for us to close the book on one of the darkest chapters in American history.